today on the CTV News at 5.
I'm very sorry, Inspector, but I'm not moving.
Protesters arrested and clear-cut logging is underway near Castle Mountain. Plus, why the city of Lethbridge is named one of the best employers in Alberta. And for the first time ever, the Picture View Golf Course is open February 1st.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Clear-cut logging in the Castle Mountain Special Area is now underway. At 8 o'clock this morning, RCMP arrived at the Castle Mountain protest site west of Pincher Creek and removed the protesters. They were served with a court order Monday night telling them to leave by this morning. 3 protesters were peacefully arrested and removed from the scene this morning. A 4th was detained after approaching some of the heavy machinery on the site. Daryl Rummeld reports.
This would be the time for people to leave.
More than 20 days after a logging protest near the Castle River Valley began, RCMP moved in.
I'm very sorry, Inspector, but I'm not moving.
By holding his ground, Mike Judd believes he's fulfilling a moral obligation to stand up against clear-cutting, to speak for a forest with no voice.
People of Alberta are being robbed by this government.
Southern Alberta gets their water here. Everybody should be here.
Why would anybody vote for a government that is robbing their children and their grandchildren of the last best place we have in Alberta? Why would you do that?
For the past 3 weeks, Judd has held watch over the area from a small tent stashed in amongst the trees he's fighting so hard to protect. Protesters have already delayed plans to begin clear-cutting in the area by more than 2 weeks. This afternoon, these machines began the work they set out to do.
That's right.
It's death. We're for life. It's between life and death, and this is an elemental struggle right here that if we win it, we might save the planet. If we lose it, the planet is toast.
4 demonstrators were removed from the area peacefully by police and will have their own day in court near the end of February. As for the rest of the group, they've moved themselves about 1.5 kilometers up the road, just outside of that jurisdiction, and will await a formal appeal in court on Friday.
It is the prerogative of the police to enforce the court order, but we're a bit disappointed that we haven't had our say in court before that gets enforced.
We understand the dynamics of both sides, and you know, this is a close-knit neighborhood in southern Alberta.
For now, protesters will continue to voice their opinion from a safe, legal distance and await their chance for an appeal to be heard by a Calgary court on Friday. Daryl Rummeld, CTV News, in the Crow's Nest Pass.
RCMP say they have not laid any charges against the 4 men, but they are scheduled to appear before a civil court judge on February 24th. Well, the couple charged with the death of a Vulcan senior was in court in Fort Macleod today, but on 2 totally different matters. Timmy Engel is charged with the murder of Otto Bunty Luce and Bobby Joe Parks with obstruction of justice. But today, Engel appeared on 12 unrelated domestic charges. Engel was out on bail for assault, choking, and forcible confinement when he was arrested for the murder of Otto Luce. He appeared on those charges and was let out on house arrest the day after Luce was reported missing. The victim's family is asking why he was out on bail at all. CTV News has learned Engel has 8 previous convictions related to breaching bail conditions and skipping court dates.
I'm disgusted with the legal system that he was actually ever let out.
Meanwhile, the victim's family and the accused family spoke today for the first time. Luce's daughter says she does not hold ill will against Bobby Joe Parks' mother and son. She only wants justice for her father. A Fort Macleod man charged with second-degree murder will have a lawyer representing him at his new trial. 45-year-old Derek Plord is accused of killing 51-year-old George English of Brockett. Police believe the 2 were involved in a fatal fight on a rural property west of Coleman in September of 2009. English suffered stab wounds and he died at the scene. Plord was going to represent himself at his trial, which was scheduled to kick off Monday, but instead he has asked for an adjournment so he could find a lawyer to act on his behalf. Today, court heard that Plord has hired defense lawyer Greg White. The trial has been rescheduled until April 16th to give White time to prepare his case. 3 Lethbridge residents charged in connection to an alleged Ponzi scheme made a brief court appearance today. In July, RCMP arrested 63-year-old Marissa Campanelli Pittarelli, 42-year-old Anthony Pittarelli, and 36-year-old Claudia Pittarelli. The trio allegedly operated front row tickets and is accused of defrauding investors out of more than $560,000. Today, their lawyer, Balfour Durr, asked for an adjournment in the case. It will return to court on March 1st. And a bill proposing tougher kidnapping laws spearheaded by an MP in southeastern BC will be back before debate in the House of Commons this month. David Wilkes, MP for Kootenay-Columbia, proposed the bill, which would create a minimum sentence of 5 years behind bars for kidnapping involving cases with young victims. Southeastern BC residents began calling for tougher laws after 3-year-old Keenan Hebert was kidnapped from his Sparwood home. He was snatched from his bed in the middle of the night in early September. 4 days later, he mysteriously reappeared. 46-year-old Randall Hopley was the focus of a massive manhunt in Keenan's disappearance. Hopley was eventually arrested west of the Crow's Nest Pass. He appears in court later this month on kidnapping, abduction, and break-and-enter charges. The bill will be debated February the 27th. It has already received second reading, but still needs royal assent before becoming law. The city of Lethbridge has been selected as one of Alberta's top 55 employers. The city has nearly 1,500 employees. The rankings for top employer are based on 8 categories, including the social and work atmosphere, health, financial and family benefits, as well as training and skill development. Human Resources General Manager Jason Elliott says it's nice to be recognized for some of the initiatives they put in place.
It's great recognition for the City of Lethbridge and for our employees here at the city. We are proud to come to work every day to deliver services to the public, and this award is just a little bit of recognition that we've got good programs and services in place for our employees to be able to do what they do best every day.
And a Lethbridge company, Stantec Consulting, has also been included in the list of top employers for 2012. It's the second straight year Stantec has made the list. The company, which provides consulting services in planning, engineering, and a variety of other areas, has 32 employees in Lethbridge. And the city is introducing 5 new hybrid transit buses into the system. The new buses were unveiled to the public this afternoon. They're designed to be more comfortable and offer better access for wheelchairs and transit users who have mobility issues. When the buses accelerate up to 18 kilometers an hour, it's 100% battery driven. The battery is charged when the engine is idling. Although the new hybrids are a little bit bigger than regular city buses, transit officials say they'll be less expensive to operate.
It lowers operating costs in 2 ways. We're doing some early assumptions, and we're saying 15% plus in fuel savings. We're also looking at in brake life, which will be drastic because with the regeneration of it, it'll be extending our brake life from 50 to 75%.
The new buses were purchased with a $5.6 million grant from the Alberta government. They'll go into service tonight, and there are 5 other hybrid buses on the way in 2013. Well, that fax machine in your office could be a ticking time bomb. Hewlett-Packard is recalling thousands of fax machines that could catch fire because of an electrical component failure. The company says one machine in Ontario burned a desk and a wall. There have been several fires in the U.S. So far, luckily, no injuries. More than 200,000 of the fax machines were sold across Canada between November of 2004 and this past December. Workers at an Australian bus company say they are blown away by an incredibly generous gift from their boss, $16 million.
You're gonna miss the best boss I ever had in my life.
The employees were given a share of the profit after their boss sold the company. 1,800 employees will get a piece of the loot, with each one receiving up to $32,000. Canada Post is celebrating an Alberta pioneer as part of Black History Month. John Ware was a cowboy who helped to establish the ranching industry in Alberta, and he was the first black person to settle in Brooks. Ware, who was born into slavery, made his way to Texas after the Civil War and trained as a cowhand. He eventually settled in Canada and established his own ranch near Brooks. He pioneered steer wrestling, winning his first competition at the 1893 Calgary Fair, setting a precedent for one of the highlights of the Calgary Stampede. And a major Alberta attraction was featured front and center on a popular daytime American TV show today.
You just might want to rope some steer when you visit the greatest outdoor show on earth on your trip to Calgary.
The Calgary Stampede was the showcase prize on The Price is Right. It's part of the centennial celebrations of the Stampede this year. The Canadian Tourism Commission funded $5 million to help promote the Stampede on its 100th anniversary. Being featured on daytime TV is just one of many marketing strategies being used.